I want to welcome you to the 2016 annual meeting of Jackson EMC. And at this time, we'd like to introduce our board of directors, and they are standing behind me, so I'm going to ask them to stand as we recognize them here this evening. Representing Barrow County and the chairman of the board of directors, Chuck Steele. Chuck. Representing Gwinnett County and vice chairman of the board of directors, Otis Jones. Representing Gwinnett County and serving as secretary-treasurer, Lynn Price. Representing Hall and Lumpkin counties, Steve Blair. Representing Jackson County, Bill Carpenter. Representing Madison and Oglethorpe counties, Rodney Chandler. Representing Banks and Franklin counties, John Mitchell. Representing Jackson County, Shade Story. Representing Clark County, Alton Thornton. And the cooperative attorney, Mike McClary from Fortson, Bentley, and Griffin. Let's make a round of applause. Thanks for these men and women and the service they provide us through Jackson EMC as our board of directors and legal. Well, it's time now for our Employee Service Awards, and we'll be joined now by Chip Jenkins, the CEO, and we have some very special employees to recognize here tonight. Really only 4, but they have done a great job through the years for Jackson EMC. We will start tonight by recognizing Crystal Baldwin, an executive assistant here at Jackson EMC for 35 years. Crystal? Next, we have Aline Crane, a contact center supervisor. She, too, service of 35 years. And I might mention for Aline, this will be her last in capacity for this meeting because she is retiring after this year. So, Aline, thank you again for your service. Been a joy, she says. That's awesome. Next, we have David Faulkner, a distribution design specialist, he too, with 35 years of service. And last but not least, again, 35 years of service, he too retiring after this year, and that is Terry Fulcher, line foreman. Terry? Let's give a round of applause for these special employees of Jackson EMC who serve you. Thanks again for great service, folks. That's a lot of service, it really is, and we appreciate what they've done through the years. Well, we get together for a lot of reasons every year at this time, but one of the most important things is we have to have a meeting, and you are the stockholders and part of this company. So we'd like to introduce, our chairman of the board, Chuck Steele, to lead us in our meeting tonight. Chairman Steele.
Can you hear me? Okay. I now call this meeting the 77th annual meeting of the members of Jackson Electric Membership Corporation to order. And if there are no objections, I appoint Mr. Dick Tysinger of Tysinger Vance to conduct our business session.
Thank you, Chairman Steele. So glad to be here with you again tonight to conduct the business of the cooperative at this 77th annual meeting. It's a pleasure to be here. We have, just in case, we have some parliamentary activities or questions. We have James Roberts, and if there's no objection, we'll appoint him as the parliamentarian for tonight. We also have the agenda that you got when you were handed in, and that will be the order of business that will go in. So if you want to know where you are before you get to the prizes, then you can check your agenda. But that will be the order we're following. Now I'd like to call upon the Secretary, Lynn Price, for the Secretary's report. Lynn?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, the official notice of this meeting contained in the August issue of Jimco News was mailed to 178,185 member customers on July 6, 2016. Proof of mailing has been signed by the appropriate authorities and will be included as a part of the minutes of this meeting. Our registrars have notified me that 1,154 member customers have been officially registered to participate in this meeting tonight. This number, Mr. Chairman, exceeds the quorum to conduct official business of the cooperative.
Thank you, Lynn. Now that we've established that there is a quorum, it's appropriate to take the first action of the meeting, which is approval of the minutes or action on the minutes from last year. How many of you were here last year? Okay, I'm going to be looking for a quick motion and second of this. Is there a motion that we approve the minutes as on file in the cooperative's headquarters and offices here without any further comment? We have such a motion. There we go. There's a motion. How about a second? Second. He's waving his. He's either making the motion or waving his fan there, one or the other. So I'm going to call it in order, and all those in favor of approving the minutes as on file in the cooperative's office, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the minutes are approved. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the cooperative auditor, Randy Nichols, CPA, for a report from our auditor. Randy?
Thank you, Dick. Thank you for again allowing me to review the financial report of your cooperative with you. The September 2016 issue of the Jimco News contains financial statements related to the past year's operations. What I plan to do at this time is to summarize those financial statements. Your cooperative had assets totaling $971 million at the end of the current year compared to $931 million for the preceding year. That's an increase of approximately $40 million. The majority of your assets are invested in the utility plant of the cooperative, which is the poles, wire, transformers, and other equipment necessary to deliver electricity to your home. Over the past year, the utility plant increased by $26.5 million. The assets available for current operations also increased by $5.5 million. These assets are derived from monies that you pay each month when you pay your bill and dollars borrowed from the Rural Utility Service, the Federal Financing Bank, and the National Rural Cooperative Finance Corporation. Presently, capital provided by you, the members, totals $387 million, and that compares to $366 million last year. During the past year, you had operating revenues totaling $517 million and expenses net of other revenues of $489 million, which provided the cooperative with approximately $28 million of capital for the current year. That capital is necessary to meet the requirements of your bankers and to make sure that you maintain a sound financial position. Your cooperative returned back to the membership $6.5 million of capital credit payments during the last year and continues to maintain a solid financial position. Thank you.
Before I begin, I need to know if you can hear me now. You can? Okay, very good. Well, good evening to all you Jackson EMC members out there. We are delighted that you could join us tonight. Each of you is a member and an owner of this electric cooperative, and I speak for each member of your Jackson EMC Board of Directors seated behind me when I say we appreciate your interest and participation. Before I talk about what we did this year, let's talk about what you did this year. Your contributions to the Jackson EMC Foundation through the Operation Roundup program over the last 10 years has put $10 million, that's right, $10 million back into our communities to improve the lives of others. And that is an absolutely amazing accomplishment. I think each of you deserves a round of applause for that. Okay? Because all owners of a business need to know how their company is doing, let's talk about what Jackson EMC achieved over the last year. First of all, our service area continued to grow. In fact, Athens, Clarke, Barrow, and Jackson counties are among the top 100 fastest growing counties in the entire nation. That growth has added 3,400 meters to our distribution system in the past 12 months, and it brought our total meters that we serve to more than 221,000. In terms of meters, Jackson EMC is the second largest electric cooperative in the country. In the past year, our members used nearly 5.2 billion, with a B, kilowatt hours of electricity. For you sports nuts and TV binge watchers out there, that's enough electricity to allow 2.5 million people to watch a 50-inch high-definition TV 24 hours a day for an entire year. Over the course of the year, Jackson EMC invested $39 million to expand and improve the distribution network that serves you. We added 120 miles of energized wire, and that's enough to lay a line from here to the Georgia Aquarium and back. But a good part of that $39 million investment went for new technology to make your power supply even more reliable. For example, we installed 48 more automatic reclosers. That's a device that can automatically open and close switches without having to manually operate them. We now have 180 of these devices in our system where they are working to keep more of you from losing power in the first place, and they also help us restore your power more quickly when outages do happen. We'll eventually have 480 of these automatic reclosers. We're also investing in new technology to generate your electricity. Over the past year, the energy we provided to you included more than 5 million kilowatt hours of solar power through our participation in the Green Power EMC. Right now, 3 new solar projects are in the works, including a new site right next door in Barrow County. When these new projects go into service, Jackson EMC will be supplying you with nearly 17 million kilowatt hours of renewable energy from the sun. That's enough to totally power 1,100 of your homes. And serving you is why we're here in the first place. Serving you is a responsibility that we take very seriously. Because your cooperative is operated so efficiently, the electricity you get from Jackson EMC truly is a bargain. The fact is, if you got electricity from almost anyone else in Georgia, your monthly electric bill would be about 15% more than you pay now. Over the course of a year, that would add $287 to to the average family's budget. On top of those savings, since you're all owners of a not-for-profit cooperative, you're eligible to receive a portion of the funds left over at the end of the year after all the cooperative's expenses are paid. We call those margin refunds. And since your cooperative is in excellent financial condition, your board is proud to be able to return that money to you. Last December, eligible Jackson EMC members received $6.5 million in margin refunds. This year, your board of directors is pleased to tell you that in December, we'll mail $7.5 million in refunds to members who received service in 1990 and/or 2015. When that refund is mailed, Jackson EMC will have returned $115.5 million to our members since we were founded in 1938. And that's what your electric cooperative has accomplished this year. Your cooperative's board is honored to help provide the reasonably priced, high-quality electric service that we know you depend on. And we never lose sight of Jackson EMC's mission to exceed your expectations with reliable, courteous, and personalized service. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and now will you help me welcome Jackson EMC President and CEO, Chip Jenkins.
Well, how are we doing? Check, check. There we go. Thanks so much, Chuck. That was great. And welcome, everyone. It's great, as always, to have you here with us tonight. I know it's been a little warm, and I see the fans going, but that's a good thing. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. And, you know, that sign behind me here really, to me, says it all, that we're here to serve you. And I have to tell you, occasionally that service involves something that is just totally unexpected, and that happened to me recently. I was walking through our Gainesville office back in July, and a very nice lady was there to apply for service, and she stopped me to ask the address of the building. And wouldn't you know that I didn't know the address of our Gainesville office off the top of my head, so I was trying to get the address for her. And I find out that she's on the phone with 911 because she's in labor. And we're standing there, and she's timing her contractions on the phone with the dispatcher. And I'm getting nervous and starting to sweat like you are tonight. And I'm really praying hard that I don't have to deliver that baby. We thankfully got her to a conference room where she could be comfortable, and we waited patiently while the paramedics arrived, and lucky for me, what could have been our newest Jackson EMC member waited for them to get there, and I was really thankful. But there he is right there. From July to today, he is doing great, and thankfully I didn't have to do any big role in that. But let's hear a hand for that newest member. And certainly while everyone at Jackson EMC is trained in CPR and first aid, including myself, I don't ever want to have to use it. We'd much rather just supply you with electricity, and that be the end of it. And just making sure that electricity gets to your homes and businesses is a big enough job, but that's just not enough. We want to do it with reliable and courteous and personalized service that exceeds your expectations. So how do we do that? Well, Chuck shared with you some of the things that we're doing with technology to keep improving the delivery of electricity. And I'd like to talk to you about the things that we're doing to make sure you're even more satisfied with the service that you receive from us. So how many of you out there have called us before on the phone? I'm sure some of you have, because we talk to you all the time, and that's for any reason, about your bill or to report an outage or to sign up for service. You know, that customer service rep that you spoke with, is part of our contact center's quality assurance program. And we routinely select random calls from you to measure how well we're doing and how consistently we're meeting our service standards. And that's an important measure. We want to know if we were knowledgeable and if we were courteous and how we were able to help you, because that information helps keep us on the path to getting better to serve you. And since more and more of you are reaching out to us through Facebook and Twitter and other social media, our contact center also follows your comments there. So when you have a problem, they reach out to you to get more information and to see if we can resolve your issue. And when you compliment us, we certainly pay attention to what made that a good experience for you. It's a real learning opportunity for us. And also, it's a way for us to ensure that our satisfaction and your satisfaction with us continues to increase. Now, for a very long time, one of the most frequent complaints that we got was when we heard from you that you really don't like having to pay a fee when you pay your electric bill with a credit card or a debit card or by electronic check, and we listened to those complaints. And even though that's a charge from a third-party provider for handling those payments, it wasn't something that we could change until now. And so I'm happy to report that this month we've introduced a way for you to pay your bill online with an electronic check for free. You just log into your account and just click on the button that says Make a Free Checking Account Payment. And that's the same as a lot of websites that you're familiar with, and you'll be very happy with that change that started this month. And speaking of websites, for some time we've been working hard to make Jackson EMC's website a 24/7 full-service site where you can manage your account, report an outage, and sign up for services you want. But if you were on the go, like most of us are, our mobile website only offered some features, and as we know, all of us are on the go a lot more these days. Well, shortly after the first of the year, we'll introduce a very new website that will give you access to everything on our existing website, no matter what device that you're using, whether it's a smartphone or some other device. And later in the year, our goal is to have a new self-service page on that website that puts everything right at your fingertips. So please be looking forward to those changes. Now we know that some of you prefer just to come see us in person, and that's important to you. Instead of calling us or using the website, you just want to see a friendly face. So we're making it that much easier to do just that, because as you'll recall, just 2 years ago, we opened a new, more centrally located office in Madison County. And next month, I'm happy to report we're opening a new office in Lawrenceville to serve the tremendous growth in Gwinnett County as well. You can get to this office easily off of Buford Drive, and it will have 2 drive-through lanes, an auditorium, and 2 electric vehicle charging stations as well. And we're going to keep finding new ways to serve you better. I told you last year about our strategic planning process, and that's been going well. Those first 3 teams of working on those initiatives finished their work this year, and they created a whole list of projects for us to work on to make things better for you, including things like advanced information technology, a proactive outage communication system, and even that self-service website that I mentioned earlier. They also recommended a new structure for Jackson EMC that groups all of the departments that are directly responsible for serving you under one chief operating officer, and all of the departments who are responsible for providing support services under a chief financial officer. And we believe this new organization will harness the teamwork in this cooperative to be even more efficient, more innovative, and produce an even higher quality of service that you're looking for. Now, you know that we don't really do what we do for awards or titles, but it's certainly great when you give us outstanding marks on our customer satisfaction surveys, and you do. And when J.D. Power tells us that we are the second highest in customer satisfaction in the entire country, we pay attention to that, and we appreciate that high mark as well. But the real glory is when we get a message like the one we got from Joe Brutzman the other day. Joe said, "We want to say thank you to the guys who came out to Charlie Bolton Road day before yesterday to fix a down line, and they stuck with it even through a thunderstorm. Y'all are really good at what you do and brave men." It's those messages that really touch us here at Jackson EMC, and we appreciate hearing from you, our members. Now, I have to say we have a great team of employees everywhere across the company, and they're truly dedicated to serving you. And we really do appreciate it when you tell us we're doing a good job, because as the sign says, it's more than that. We're putting into action that we really are here to serve you each and every day. So thank you again for being Jackson members. Thank you again for allowing us to serve you. Thanks for spending some of your valuable time to come out with us tonight and enjoy an evening with us of gospel music and prizes and doing the business of the co-op. I thank you for spending that valuable time. We hope you'll come back next year, and safe travels home. Thank you all very much.
Under the bylaws of the cooperative, there are two ways for which directors can be nominated. One is by the nominating committee, and we're about to hear their report in just a minute. Another is for a director to be nominated, or a candidate for a director to be nominated by a petition of only 50 members. I can report this year that there were no nominations by petition, so I will call upon Dr. Lou Penn to give the report of the nominating committee.
Sorry, I don't have a tire. Sorry, I don't have a tire. Sorry. You're more comfortable. The nominating committee of the Jackson Electric Membership Corporation met at the cooperative headquarters, Commerce Highway, Jefferson, Georgia, at 9 a.m., February 29th, 2016. In accordance with the bylaws of Jackson Electric Membership, we wish to place in nomination the following members for consideration by the membership at the meeting of the members of Jackson Electric Membership Corporation to be held on Thursday, September 15th, today, and voted on at said meeting to serve for a 3-year term, beginning on that date. In Barrow County, we have Chuck Steele. Gwinnett County, Otis P. Jones. Hall County, Steve Blair. Signed by 8 members of the nominating committee. And those members' names are Steve Bates, myself, Dr. Lou Penn, Clay McDaniel, Tim Booth, Mrs. Howard McClure, Sherry Rogers, Quillian Butler, Alicia Williams. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Penn, and all of those names he called out there are members that form the nominating committee. So it's a committee of regular members that nominate the candidates for this year's director seats. There being no other nominations, then there are only 3 seats open. I would call for a motion that these directors, Mr. Jones, Mr. Steele, and Mr. Blair, be elected by acclamation. Do I hear a motion that these gentlemen be elected by acclamation? Can I have a motion to that effect? The pretty lady in the 4th row back there is helping me with the motions. Do I have a second? Got a second over here. All those in favor of these gentlemen being elected as nominated by the nominating committee, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Congratulations. There is no old business to take place. Is there any new business that anybody wants to raise for the good of the membership? Hearing none, I will declare the meeting adjourned, and we will adjourn for the prize drawing. Thank you for attending, and safe drive home.